So, like I mentioned in the commentaries of the Terminator game that Pedro did, I managed to get a copy of Terminator Salvation, the video game. Aren't you so happy? And it's done by GRIN Studio, a studio that have been plagued by shitty game after shitty game, and when we were starting to give an inkling of doing something good, they were closed down.
GRIN.
Oh well.
God, they're so.
What we're seeing the most is also the publisher, two publishers in particular, Equity Games and Evolved Games. I know neither of them, and I honestly don't even know who has the Terminator gaming license right now, because this was the last game that they did. This is the last Terminator major games that they did. The only other one was a tie-in to Genesis and was for mobile only, so...
Well, going off of the track record of Terminator games, I'm sure we're in for a rip-roaring good time, and oh god, help me.
This is bad.
Yes, this is... Okay.
Sorry, Joe, but David Perry's game on the Sega CD is still the best.
For starters, okay, I kind of like the decision. This is not a proper, adaptation of a movie, but instead a prequel story to it. Supposedly showing how John Connor became famous in the military rank of human resistance. You may have noticed that voice, because that's the voice of John Connor, by the way. When casting for this video game, practically every major actor that has a character returning in this game actually was okay with giving their likenesses and giving their voice, except one, Christian Bale as John Connor. I can't imagine why that.
Oh,
anyway.
Well, I remember he had all that stuff with yelling on the set and all
well,
that.
that was ironic, but...
so once again, the John Connor can't be played by any person more than once curse continues.
Yeah.
Sam Worthington, so you mean Sam Worthington?
Nope. Considering they were kind of on a budget, instead John Connor is voiced by, of all people, Gideon Emery.
No, but remember, Sam Worthington had a character in the movie that wasn't John Connor. So
we weren't talking about him.
The only characters who show up are Blair, played by Moon Bloodgood, Angie, played by Rose McGowan, and Barnes, voiced by Common.
Whoa. Did you think we were bringing back all the characters from the movie, you silly goose?
Anyway, you may also notice that this game suffers from terrible audio mixing. There are these cutscenes which are a sort of CGI that have very extremely low audio. That doesn't match.
Yeah, I was wondering that. I'm setting up my TV.
Hold on, Waves. Okay, that doesn't match the actual in-game audio, so you get like a situation where you're trying to raise the volume of the TV in order to listen to this, and then the game starts and immediately blindsides you with very loud volume because it doesn't match what is going on. Anyway,
so it's like Flash cartoons.
Okay, guys, as someone who's played this game before, let me run you through the rules here. There are good licensed games. There are your typical bad licensed games. And then there are the kind of licensed games that are so terrible that they earn the mark of some of the worst games of all time. This is one of those. It's that bad.
Anyway, this of course is set in supposedly the post-apocalyptic future after Judgment Day. Basically, this is very close to this is even less to do with the original Terminator series than the actual movie is supposed to be based on. Exactly what I told you, Dibs. Why? We're by the way. Why? Because the actual Terminator model, the Schwarzenegger one, the T-800, is mentioned like only once. The Judgment Day is name dropped like only once in the entire game, and everything else is just rinse and repeat of the same 3 or 4 enemy types, as I will say in a second. For now, let me explain a bit the mechanic. It's actually not that bad on paper as a cover-up shooter. It's very similar to Gears. You run to a cover, and then you get if you move to the analog stick, you get an option to see the different places where you can get into cover. So then you can move from a sprint from that you have invincibility frame. It's not even that bad on paper, but this game is bare bones, so it's kind of wasted. And let me say also something very quick, because Pedro will notice that eventually. The recurring character of Blair, like I said, is voiced by Moonblood Good in this game. However, not all of her lines have been recorded somehow. Therefore, they had to, not patch in, but basically the developers doing development, they had to revoice some of these lines that have been voiced by Moon to our voice actors, and they chose your traditional range of voice actor. For the character of Blair, they chose, as she would be heard more clearly in another part, if not in this one, Laura Bailey. First of all, as much as I'm okay with Laura Bailey's voice, she sounds nothing like Moon, so the disconnection is very noticeable.
No, that's bad casting in general.
But hold on, Pedro. She's not even casted. She's not even credited.
Well, to be fair, would you want this game on your...
Pedro, sorry. A lot... That's the baffling thing, as I will show also in the credit because it's low down when they happen. There are a lot of voice actors credited as Resistance Soldier, but you barely hear their voices for the entire game, and they amount nothing more than maybe grunts. And it's not like it's like one or two. This is Lightning Returns level casting a lot of people for nothing. Dante Basco is involved in this shit.
Oh, great.
And I haven't heard his voice a single time in this game.
Well, let me ask you something, Teo. Is L. Dietz credited?
No. Like I said...
For those who don't know, everybody, L. Dietz is Laura Bailey's pseudonym.
Yeah.
One of her pseudonyms. I think she has another one, too, that she used. I can't recall it, though.
Anyway, one thing that you may notice is that the camera is always fixed on John Connor's ass, almost literally, because when you move it like that, he shakes his booty a lot.
I love how that cutscene starts.
It's for the ladies, too.
Look at that guy.
Yeah,
Hey, look at that, guys. That model was completely standing still. Don't you just love it? The emotionlessness in their faces, the monotone acting here and there.
Yeah, we get it. We saw this, they were barely moving, and it's like the director of school was saying, action! And they were like, oh, run.
Maybe that was Dante Basco, the one who screamed. Oh well.
Anyway, in terms of the writing of this game, one of the writers, Corey May, aka the only guy who has a Wikipedia page of the writing, he has a very interesting writing history. Before this, he wrote Prince of Persia's Warrior Within and The Two Thrones.
Well, Two Thrones was good, but Warrior Within, blech.
And also, there was this thing called Battles of Prince of Persia.
Yeah, the game I mentioned.
And there was also a game called and he also wrote the Assassin's Creed games up till Black Flag.
Huh.
Again,
his last game to date was Batman.
Story-wise, this game is not horrible. It's just relatively boring. The thing is,
the last one he wrote was Batman Arkham Origins.
Wait, what? That one actually is a good story. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Like you said, Jova, the story of this game is not that bad. It's just boring. It's John Connor going from point A to point B and saving people. That's pretty much it.
I guess to be fair, the writing is the least of this game's problems because there is plenty more.
Time for one of the few actually boss fight against an HK. If you don't remember from the movies, those are some of the things that hero killers. The one that basically can kill or kidnap human beings. But let me talk instead about the enemy types, because this game is bare bone. You get, if you watched Angry Joe's videos, you may remember this as one of his very early reviews, in which he sounds mostly disappointed more than angry. But there are a grand total like 4 enemy types, aside from the HK. You have the wasps, which are the more common ones, which are the flying enemies, not even the ground enemies. You have the spiders, which are like tank level enemies on the ground, and occasionally the game will throw a T600 at you. That's pretty much it.
barely any T8. So not even a
Mind you,
T800. You know, the thing
the
that
T-
the series is famous for.
No. The T600 are the standard model, the one that is more memorable. The T800 supposedly is the one that is managing to replicate human skin on top of its body, which John Connor name drops, like I said.
Well, you know what I mean, though. It's like, oh, come on. You don't have a T800. And look, regardless, okay? If there's one thing people love about Terminator, it's the T800. Yes, T600s are technically T800s just without the humanoid skin on.
That's what they
but
said.
come on, wasn't the
about...
point also that around
That's
this time is when the T800s were popping out?
Speaking of which, there is. Oh yeah, this cutscene makes no sense, so just watch. The T600 clearly can see people behind covers like that. And can you see also them?
Yeah,
Okay, so what does he do? He gets distracted by your colonel or something, I forgot his name, and gives ample time for them to just leave like that. You're a terrible machine.
Seriously, chase after them, you idiot!
Jesus.
I guess not.
Anyway, time for a not a chase scene, but basically an escape sequence where John will pilot the turret.
Now you're probably thinking, a driving sequence.
This is starting to be quite a lot like the Super Nintendo game.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to homage stuff, because remember, GRIN are the guys who made the Bionic Commando Rearmed, which is basically a retelling homage of the original NES games. So I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to try something similar here.
ATO.
Yes.
Considering how infamously uncanny GRIN's logo is with that stupid grin, how much you want to bet part of this in the game so badly is the rumor that people were just terrified by the look of the logo itself?
Very possible, but remember, GRIN had also a terrible reputation of its own. So
GRIN are just like...
They reminder that GRIN are the people who, among other things, did the Bionic Commando reboot 2008, I think it was, which has one of the silliest plot twists, even for a Capcom game. I'm sorry. I still kind of like the gameplay of that, but I can't excuse the plot twist because it's really, really stupid. But like I said, they did the Bionic Commando Rearmed 2 games, and those actually were good. Then they tried to do. They were in the project in making the game Fortress, a game for Square Enix that was part of the Ivalice Alliance series of games. And at the same time, we were trying to do a Strider reboot and a Streets of Rage reboot. And both we were cancelled when GRIN was closed down eventually.
Take it down
Anyway,
now.
to destroy the HK piece by piece.
You know, for a driving sequence, this is just sad and uninspired. Like, look at this. The target reticle is incredibly basic and just a circle, which, guess what, isn't always the best marker of how well your targeting stuff is. And before anyone says real life, screw that, this is a video game.
The machine gun is relatively imprecise, I will say that, even if you're aiming in the right direction.
Because that's what you
it was released on PC as well, but I can imagine it to be a bit more precise there.
Oh boy, horribly inaccurate gunplay, my favorite.
Just be glad that I'm the one recording these waves, not you.
Well, I'm
Honestly-
pretty sure.
Honestly, this is not the worst that I played recently with the gunplay. The game, the game of Battleship actually has, quite honestly to me, the worst, aiming controls for a console game.
I'm looking.
A long time for the epic jump slow-mo!
And that doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but we're free to go!
Not to mention, this HK is quite persistent. I'm pretty sure Skynet will have ordered them to retreat and send a different one instead now.
So, well, suck it, Newton. I guess you can have a being of lesser mass somehow overpower a foe of bigger mass without more acceleration. Huh. Force of gravity? What the hell is that? Heck, force in general, what the hell is that? Hey, you know what would be nice to help this moment out? How about some music?
Whoa, yeah, the music is, like I said, the sound mix is bad on its own, but the music is not non-existent, but very subdued. And the Terminator theme in its original form is not present. I decided to add it in the Sega CD version, which is the almost closest similar to the original one for the credits, because otherwise it would be very depressing. But
oh my god, they missed the sound effects for some of the bullets.
Yeah, but the actual music of the game has the Terminator theme slightly remixed into a heroic version to symbolize the resistance, but it's so distant and disconnected, like I said. It doesn't feel like a Terminator game aside from the major setting alone and design of a T-600. There we go.
And this is where the imprecise gunplay really starts to make it a pain.
By the way, there is no multiplayer in this thing, but there is co-op. You can play co-op. I don't know if there's split screen or not, but in case your co-op partner plays as Blair, since she sticks with John for the entire game. But I haven't tried it, obviously, so I don't know how it is. I'm pretty sure it will make the game extremely easy. Mind you, your partner is not completely brain dead. They get their shit done and they never, impede you or something. But I can imagine co-op being much more helpful.
So Tio, better or worse? So Tio, better or worse than Ada Wong's imaginary friend, Agent, from Resident Evil 6? Oh boy.
Isn't Agent... Oh yeah, sorry, I get confused with that game that's in development, Health.
Okay. Basically, Dibs, here's the lowdown. In Resident Evil 6, every character campaign gets a playable co-op partner. With Ada Wong's, here's the thing. Her story was clearly not meant to have two players in it, because she often spends a lot of time alone. So, for the co-op partner, there's this faceless mook just called Agent, who, I kid you not, can get...
used Hank.
Yeah, like seriously, how do you... You could have easily
Anyway,
used
Invisible Wall in Chapter 2, thank heaven. Yes. Yes, game. This, small foreshadowing, this game is extremely short.
Yeah, it's only 5
Well,
parts.
it means it won't last.
And none of them, and I think most of them are around 30 minutes each. Make the math.
Hey, you want to know a game that was a tie-in game that actually did the whole prequel thing well? Transformers Dark of the Moon. The HD version, not the Wii version. Believe it or not. Of course, that was made by High Moon Studios, the same people who brought us Transformers War for Cybertron.
And the Deadpool video game.
Basically, that game was actually a pretty good prequel that had, surprise, surprise, better writing than the movie.
Anyway, in case you were wondering, the game was also released for Xbox 360 and Steam, but I'm pretty sure it has been delisted a long time ago.
Well, look at them graphics. Isn't this using, of course, nothing but the top-notch form of
what engine
graphics?
is
I'm gonna draw its attention. You two flank it.
I don't
Take
recall.
it down from behind.
the one that the GRIN developed specifically?
Oh yeah, speaking of GRIN,
Yeah.
before this, among other things, they were behind the two recent Bionic Commando games.
We've already mentioned those.
Behind him.
Anyway,
I wasn't.
Yeah, that's why I interrupted you now. Anyway, supposedly the strategy for the spiders is that one player needs to bait them in order to evade their fire, another one to circle them and shoot the engine that you see behind them. Or you could just do like I did, and if you have a rocket launcher, blast them on the spot
All
immediately.
right, coast is clear.
Well, actually, you look like you're
it's up
using
to
your
you.
machine gun up close,
Well,
but
for
I
the,
digress.
for the second one, Jova, but if you saw for the first one, I did that. Basically, if you have a rocket launcher, a grenade launcher, or just your grenades, you can blast them really easily, even in hard mode. So,
Hey, guys, could you stop just standing around there? It's breaking the immersion from time to time.
He can't even shoot your allies.
nope. It's that shallow.
Hey, allies, want to help out here? I was just attacked. I'm John Connor, leader of the Resistance. Aren't you guys supposed to be helping
Jova,
me?
He's not yet the leader of Resistance.
Well, even.
Well, I'm glad to see that the color scheme is just as boring and dull as the movie that's supposed to
Hey,
be.
Tio,
titled.
hey,
Also remember, this was done in 2009, where the Call of Duty craze was all on, so the primary colors for doing things were gray and brown.
Hey Tia, perfect segue. Yes, that's right. In this prequel, John Connor is not yet the leader of the Resistance. However, here's the thing though. If you'll recall, in Terminator 1, Sarah Connor was told that John Connor was the one who started the Resistance in the first place. So, isn't this kind of contradictory?
At the end of a Terminator 3, he starts the Resistance by doing the calling with forget the other character name.
So, when you get down
girl
to
was
it... Yeah, so when you get down to it,
it's,
not only does this contradict Terminator 1, but this contradicts Terminator 3! The movie that literally takes place right before we get into the apocalypse
I mean,
era.
I can guess
So
that...
it's over, implying that this franchise cares about continuity anymore. At
I
this
mean,
point.
I can guess that just because he started it doesn't automatically make him a leader, and make maybe the military leaders of Earth try to take command on their own instead.
Let's not forget.
Especially since
sorry.
John Connor himself wasn't a military trained person at that point.
Well, hey, Pedro, Amigo, nowadays they seem to care more about continuity since they're retconning everything past Terminator 2.
So
True.
Halloween did it as well, and it didn't seem to have worked out in the end.
Really? I heard people
Actually,
like that movie.
I like that one.
Maybe we're too late.
Yeah, I mean, well, hey, it sounds like it worked out for Halloween, and maybe it'll work out for
Oh.
Terminator.
Are you on about the first time they tried to do that?
No, the more recent one, the one
No, no, that one
called
worked.
everything aside from the first movie.
No,
Anyway,
that one worked. I think the only thing I thought was a bit weird was giving the sequel was calling the sequel Halloween
Just Halloween.
to a
Oh.
film called Halloween.
Never really been a fan of that.
Anyway, what we're supposed to do here is we reached a rendezvous point, and now we're waiting for the extraction helicopter.
So you're probably wondering, if John Connor isn't the leader of the Resistance that he himself started, who is?
It's a congregation of military people. We don't really know who they are. John is just reporting to his superiors, and as we see at the end of his chapter, hold on, he will go on a solo mission to save some people who are trapped in the Skynet facility.
Even though, remember, according to the first movie,
Don't let him
as Kyle Reese specifically told us, nobody in the Resistance knew how to fight. It was John who had to teach everybody how to fight.
Oh man, I mean, look, it's I get it. Maybe sometimes you may forget some things continuity-wise, but really, it was from Terminator 1. The most iconic, well, okay, maybe the second most iconic. A lot of people remember Terminator 2 more nowadays, but I digress. Even still, Terminator 1, incredibly quotable. You're telling me that they couldn't have remembered the most integral thing about John Connor from Terminator 1? And again, like was mentioned earlier, the thing that he starts doing in Terminator 3 anyway, so that was an even more recent example?
Exactly. Like it's again, it's the Highlander thing where let's make Highlander 2 without actually watching the first one.
Which is funny because one of the writers wrote both of them.
I guess that must
Right,
have been
that-
his masterpiece plot twist. Make everything aliens.
Also, in order to promote this, there was actually a 6-episode Machinima miniseries. Unfortunately, when Machinima went down, they took down the video with it. Someone tried to re-upload it, but part of the last episode is missing. But you can officially potentially purchase it. $10 on Amazon, but I will say don't invest your monies of it because I saw most of it, and it's just an original character voiced by Cam Clark talking with Blair. That's pretty much it. It shows basically nothing and it serves no purpose. So I would argue it's not even good for commentary. It's even a prequel to this game, and yet it doesn't set
Prequel
up
to the
anything.
prequel.
Huh.
Wow.
It's not even useful as a prequel.
This is John Connor.
Anyway, John Connor has received a distress call.
You know, I was actually sad about the movie.
What?
This is Connor.
It
Do
was
you
a
copy?
movie where we had
Come in.
Christian Bale and he had to report a
Can you hear me?
Michael
David.
Ironside.
Damn
And
it!
it's still boring.
Damn, dude. You hear that guy? He's
Remember, I think at that point Michael Ironside's character was of higher rank than John
Listen
Connor.
up, people. We've got to clear a landing site for the choppers. Grab your gear and get ready to move out.
I mean, don't
You,
get me
and
wrong,
you.
I love
Keep watch
Michael
over the wounded.
Ironside and everything,
Connor,
but
The
Williams,
dude has
Simpson,
bad luck
up
when
on
it
the
comes to
roof.
sci-fi, it
Everyone
seems.
else, outside.
yeah,
Well,
I mean, although
What about that?
Yeah,
He
although
was
recently
kind. He was kind of okay with
There's no
Starship
time for that
Troopers.
now, Connor. Just do as you're told.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
she
he was in that.
it was in Total Recall, remember?
The original or the reboot?
Connor,
The original.
you there?
Yeah.
God.
Have you
Plus, I
asked
thought
the
he was
man to
good
send
as
evac
the
We're working on
jailer
it.
general
In the meantime,
major guy
find
in that
someplace safe to
Nuremberg
wait this out.
TV movie.
David? David.
David. Seriously, what the heck
Oh
is
yeah,
up with that echo
that's what I
effect?
may have noticed, but if you haven't, let me tell you, all the in-game voice for all the dialogue, not just in the cutscene, but also in-game when the characters are walking around talking, have a huge echo effect for no reason.
You probably think maybe it's in his mind. Nope, that's supposed to be said out loud. It
I
doesn't
don't
even
know
help you
why
hear
they
them better.
did this, because whoever did the audio mixing from the GRIN team for this game needed to be fired, and it probably was, because I don't remember these specific problems being present in any of the other games we did.
You know, GRIN baffles me. As a company,
Well, I think this
I...
was the last
Sit tight,
game.
Weston.
I think this was the
We'll find
last
a way to
game
get to
Grin
you.
did.
Yeah, they like I said, they were programming Fortress for Square Enix, a Strider reboot and a Streets of Rage reboot, along with a couple of minor other games, but they were cancelled before Big.
Seriously, Capcom, of all the people to do one of your beloved franchises, you chose GRIN of all people.
Remember,
Well, that game never came out, so...
Remember, Jova, eventually the Strider reboot was done by Double Helix, a company that at that point had no faith from anyone because they had a bad track record. But lo and behold, we actually managed to deliver.
But GRIN of all people. But anyway, Dwibs, I was talking about the Bionic Commando
hold on,
game.
here we go.
Calling all pilots.
Oh, right.
Now it's time for some military incompetence.
Rearmed
Yes,
or...
you better hurry.
Well, okay,
We got
Rearmed
company on the
was
way.
actually not bad, I'll admit.
Both of them, anyway, Dweebs, we did.
The reboot, though, was terrible. It was god-awfully terrible. Wait, hold on. Is Rearmed the reboot?
Yes, no.
Oh, no. Rearmed's like the...
Anyway, hold on. Anyway, Connor is like, yeah, but what is survival? He's like, "Roar, no, we can't really have to leave them behind. But they are people, roar, and not listen to you. Great writing.
Every life is sacred.
I'm sorry, Connor, but there's nothing we can do. Like you mean it, people.
Maybe if you were the one in charge, then you could be giving the orders here, but apparently you're not.
Get on board, Connor.
Well, yeah, again, just because you form a resistance
Taking some
doesn't mean that you're going to be good at military strategy or anything.
Lots of English. He was established as the leader from the get-go. So this doesn't make any sense.
Just go.
Yes,
Is it like at least it's not like at least it's not like in one of the other first Terminator game where they say he's
Hold on, pay attention to this. What is Blair gonna do? Okay.
Wow.
Read this. And 3, 2, 1.
You copy. We're on our way
Well,
to get
okay, miscalculated, but there you go. Dead.
Huh.
I'm sorry, Blair. I'm pretty sure you're not gonna regret this because there's a harvester. You don't remember this is the thing that kidnaps people. So, do we have like an epic boss fight against the harvester? No, we have like a 10-15 seconds sequence where we have to take cover and run away from his laser barrage, and then we're done.
Are you trying to get us killed?
I'm not even kidding, it's that short. Look at that, we need to jump into that hole, and there you go, we're done.
Wow.
That was lame.
Again,
And
it's a
almost
flipping...
anticlimactic.
You know
This
what's...
game most likely was rushed out the fuck out the door. Like,
Oh,
seriously.
Pedro.
Apparently, it was the development of this was so chaotic. They apparently scrapped online multiplayer just so they could get
Yeah.
the game out on time.
Okay,
And
Pedro.
mind you, this was released at launch for $60.
So, okay, question. Pedro Dibs, are you guys familiar with GRIN?
No.
Oh, boy. Okay. You have not seen a bad game if you haven't
Well,
played
no,
a GRIN
no.
game.
Don't worry, Java, it will be time for the next couple of parts to talk about it. So see you for the second one.
So,
See you,
yeah.
everybody.
Alright.